Alright, as the title of this video suggests, we're going to talk about why it's not so cool to slam shift your vehicle through the gears. And I'm going to give you a couple examples why. I'll even show you why you shouldn't do it. And, well, let's get started. One big thing about it is that when you're pulling your vehicle from reverse to drive, you are literally changing the direction of power. Well, there's other things that can break and will break, in some cases before the transmission does, that are just as important as the transmission. So, transmission aside, there's things other than that. There's also the fact that you're increasing wear on other components of the vehicle. You're putting a lot of pressure on your ball joints, especially on these transversely mounted engines where, you have front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and you're also putting more stress on your hub bearings, and you're also putting a lot of stress on your CV axles. CV axles typically, they don't like to take impact, and that's essentially what you're doing is you're impacting them. So keep in mind that there are other components other than the transmission that are in play here. On a manual transmission, transversely mounted engine configuration, you've got things such as your clutch. You've got synchros you got to worry about. And because of the way that a manual transmission works, you've also got to worry about your pinion seals, your pilot bearing, and also the way that a manual transmission interacts with the engine. You also got to think about your thrust bearing inside your engine. Your thrust bearing inside your engine, that's pretty much the only thing that's going to take up the side-to-side, forward-back movement of the entire crankshaft, flywheel, and clutch assembly, because there's really nothing that is attached other than that. So when you let off the clutch, it releases tension on your bearings, and when you slam onto it again, it puts pressure right back, and you can cause severe damage inside your engine doing it. Engines do not like to just hammer, unless it's a race engine, it's really not happy doing that. So then there's the one weak point that usually gets found, especially on vehicles with age. Vehicles with age, usually this is the first thing that decides to die before anything else, and it has to do with the fact that you're loading that thing and loading it and loading it, and it's already had a lot of loads seen on it through its life, especially if you've got a vehicle that's 10 to 15 years plus. It might even just be better off, even if you aren't hammering on it, to just replace these things anyway. What I'm talking about is, I'm talking about your engine and transmission mounts. Now, that's not supposed to happen. That is not supposed to be like that. the rubber is supposed to be contacting the steel on both sides to a point that this is not supposed to happen. And you're not... See, this is the new one. You're not supposed to be able to twist this. You're not. It's something that you're not supposed to be able to do. This one is completely shot. And it happens, especially when you're beating on it in that manner. So, keep that in mind, that you will be replacing parts if you decide to drive like they do in the Fast and Furious. So, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Please comment, rate, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.